Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We have a very exciting video today, one that I'm actually super proud of. It didn't turn out quite as I had planned just because of the size of what these are, but other than that, I'm really proud of myself and let's chat about it. So I found two matching side tables, bedside tables at Goodwill for 20 bucks total. And I was like, what? I never ever find matching side tables ever. And I currently don't have any matching side tables until I found these. So I was really excited about it. So obviously I picked them up after debating for like literally 25 minutes if I wanted to get them so I could redo them or if I didn't think I would do that. Anyway, so I got them, 20 bucks total, brought them home like 2 months ago, and they've just been sitting in our spare bedroom doing nothing. And so finally I just decided that this weekend was it. So this past weekend I redid these side tables and I am very proud of the outcome. I think they turned out really well, so I'm very excited for you guys to see. And really without further ado, let's just get into it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything else exciting, you know? Yay! Anyways, let's get into the process of making over these tables and I will see you in a little bit. The first thing I started with was filling all of the holes with this spackle putty stuff. It's the one that turns from pink to white when it's dry. And honestly, I wish I wouldn't have done this because I didn't do it on the other one and I like just having the little holes better actually. After I did that, while I let it dry, I took off the handles from the drawers. And I did have two of these, but I'm only showing you one because obviously I just did the same thing on each bedside table. But I had a little bit of trouble taking off the screws for the handles for some reason, but we got there. Next, I am sanding down the drawer fronts completely. They are real wood, so I am just taking off the top layer of, I guess, stain, maybe? I don't really know what it is, but I just completely sanded it down with a 120 grit sandpaper and my Craftsman sander. I will link everything that I used supplies-wise in this video in the description below if you are interested in it. But I did take my sander and I sanded down the entire piece, wiping away occasionally so I could see what I was doing. And it actually turned out really well. I didn't know if it would or not, but we got most of it off. Everything but that little crease in the middle, and I'm just too lazy, so I didn't take any sandpaper or anything to take that part off because it was so skinny. But everything else came off just fine, and I probably did round out some corners a little bit, but I don't mind. Next, I'm taking off these pieces that are like curvy on it because I wanted it to be a little bit more modern. So I just took my hammer and they just popped right off and sanded it down a little bit where it needed it. And I did the same thing on the bottom because I didn't like that either. There was a little wood left, so I took that off. And then I took my hammer to get these little nails that were holding that front plate on off. And clearly I had a little bit of trouble. But we finally got there and we got all of the nails off or out. And I hammered that down and then I sanded it a little bit just so it's flat so you can't see it when you're looking at it from the front. Because it did leave a little bit of wood there, but it's on the bottom, so I didn't mind as long as it was sanded down enough to where I couldn't see it when you're looking at it from the front when it was done. And that was all the pieces that I had to take off. So I'm still letting the top dry. I'm taking my sander and I'm just scuff sanding the whole thing. I am using chalk paint, which people in videos tell me that it's not necessary to sand for that, but I wanted to do it anyways just in case. So I did take the 120 grit sandpaper and just kind of scuff sanded the entire piece that was going to be painted with the chalk paint just to ensure that it would stick as good as it possibly could. And once my putty was dry, I then took my sander and sanded that off. And we are completely sanding the top of this as well, just like we did the drawer fronts. So this did take a little bit longer, and it wasn't a very good angle. I have it on this Craftsman. No, it's not Craftsman. It's Heart from Walmart. workbench that I set it on, so it was probably a little high, but it was better than bending down, I guess. So it did take a little bit, but we finally got there, and the whole thing was eventually just down to its raw wood. And the putty that I used is supposed to be kind of wood colored, but it's actually much lighter. So, like I said earlier, I don't think I would do that if I did it again, because I didn't do it on the second one, fill the holes, and I think it looked a lot better because they're just kind of holes, so it gives it a little bit of character, but it doesn't have like white dots on the top of it, which this one does, because I just sealed it. I didn't do anything to the wood, so it's definitely a different color, but I guess it's okay. I guess. It looks fine. I'm very happy with how they turned out, so I won't fret too much, but I'm just continuing to sand and sand and sand and sand and sand until all of my wood is completely raw on the top to match the drawer fronts, and it turned out really, really well. Okay, so the entire thing is sanded, and I did a light sanding, obviously, of the entire piece, and I have this Kills chalk style paint that's in toasted poppy seed, and I don't want it to be black, but I think I want it to have a contrast between the paint and then the bare wood. So I think I'm gonna paint this on the back of it just to see what color it actually is, just a little test piece, so I can see if I actually like the color, you know? So it's like this dark gray that's almost got a blue to it, which is actually good because we have a lot of blue accents in our master bedroom, and the walls are like a white gray blue, so it could look good. So if we look at that with the bare drawer front, I think that looks pretty good. I think we'll go with that. Yay! After deciding on the paint color, I took some simple green degreaser cleaner thing and just cleaned the entire piece just to get any leftover gunk and grime off of it and any sanding dust that may have been left, just to get my surface prepared for paint, because cleaning is an important step to furniture restoration and really anything in life if you think about it. It's pretty important for most things. So after it was cleaned, I took my paint and I coated it as well as I could on the first coat. I have a really big brush, which actually worked really well in my favor. It covered quickly, and this paint also just has good coverage. I guess it's the chalk paint. But I gave a good first coat to the entire piece, and I thought it was turning out really good at this point. I was pretty excited about it, and I was painting really well, which I don't normally do, so I'm proud of myself. So I just did a super light sanding on this with 220 grit because mostly I sanded this one, like the top and stuff, while this one was a little wet, so there was a little bit of sawdust in it, or sanding dust, and then also just to kind of smooth down the brush strokes a little. I don't think it worked that well because I didn't want to sand it super hard, but we are ready for coat 2. So after sanding and kind of failing on sanding, we went in with a second coat of paint, and I ended up only doing 2 because I was pretty satisfied with the coverage of 2 of the coats. It covered all the wood. I couldn't see anything else. I do have a lot of brush strokes left over, so if you have an issue with that, you might want to try like a roller instead of a paintbrush, because it definitely did leave brush strokes, and I guess with the chalk paint it becomes more seeable, I guess. So after I painted, while that was drying, I sprayed the drawer fronts with this polyurethane spray. I'll link it down below. And then I didn't film it for some reason, but I did spray the entire piece and the drawer fronts with 3 thin coats of that spray, just to give it a good seal, so the paint wouldn't scratch off and nothing would really affect the wood, like liquids or something, since it is a bedside table. people are going to be putting cups of water or whatever on it before they go to sleep, so I didn't want any issues there. And after that, I put the handles, or the, what are they called? The knobs. Are they called knobs? The pulls back on the drawers, which I did have a little trouble with, but I do apologize for not filming the part before, but you get the gist. I just sprayed the whole thing. And it worked out really well, actually, so I do recommend it. This is what we currently have going on for a bedside table. Ignore my mess. Not trying to hide anything from you guys, but it's pretty big. This is technically like a side table for a couch. And then on that side, we've got my mom's old nightstand from her room as a kid. So they don't match. And I think they're going to be a tad smaller, and I might need to add legs, but we're going to see what they look like. Okay, y'all, so that was the process of making over these side tables. It was actually really challenging because I've never done anything like that before, but it was also very exciting and rewarding to see the finished outcome and just to see what they came from to what they ended up as by my hand, which was just really exciting. I get a lot of thrill out of making things pretty again. Not that they were super ugly to begin with, they just weren't really my style. And while they are a tad too small probably for my bed, because it is on a pretty high frame and it's a king bed, so it's tall and wide, and they're a tad short and skinny, both ways really. So I'll probably not use them in the bedroom where I've put them currently. They'll probably go in my guest bedroom, but I am still super proud of them. I am very impressed with myself. It was my first real like makeover of furniture project, and I am very satisfied with the outcome, and I am excited to do more furniture flips. Thank you so much for watching. I very much hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give this a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!